How you diddling? Codger Biker here. Earlier in the year I published a video called Gentle Bar End Removal. There'll be a link to this at the end, as there will be for all the videos I mention. And I stand by it. A lot of people got back to me and said it worked great for them. Some people said it still didn't work. But I found it the best way to get those bar end weights out so that I could fit some handguards. Now why would I want handguards? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, if you've ever knocked your bike over in a car park in the middle of nowhere and snapped the lever off, you'll know why. And secondly, there's no doubt about it, a little bit of extra protection for your hands in the wind and the rain is welcome. It also stops your heated grips from cooling down as quickly. Well, in my mind anyway. So what's the problem then? Well, when you remove the bar end weights that Honda put in the bike, you've got to assume that they put them there for a reason. And the bar end weights that come with the Kobra Handguards that I installed are way smaller. And to counteract this, I fitted grip puppies. Now the ordinary grip puppies I rode all summer with and found them to be fine. They make the grips feel a bit fatter, but not too much. Problem came when I fitted heated grips and those grip puppies wouldn't go back over them, so I had to get what's called big paw grip puppies. And two things: one, they made my hands feel quite uncomfortable because the grips are now so wide, and secondly, I can't help thinking that the heated grips can't be as effective with those in place. Even with these big paw grips, the heat still gets through them. It's quite amazing on the heated grips, and these aren't the hottest heated grips in the world. You can definitely feel it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can fit those bar ends to the original bar ends. I've got a plan. So I have. So what to do? Well, that's where I started thinking. Please don't copy this, I'm not a mechanic. You should have figured that out by now. Good morning, Codger Biker here, and I've been thinking again. Never a good thing. Okay, so you can see here the original Honda bar end weight, which is rubber damped. Has some clips that fit inside the handlebars. There's some holes that they slot into. So what I was wondering was if there's some way of combining this, because you can see it's substantially longer and heavier and more likely to do damping than that part. Combine the two, and I think there may be a way. The only issue, as far as I can see, is instead of an 8mm bolt that comes with the SW-Motech kit, I'll probably have to use a 6mm bolt. I'll probably use a 6mm coach bolt, so it's a bit thinner. I don't envisage that being a problem because it's tightened into the bar end weight, which has got a lot of thread in it. So I think that'll be okay. It fits okay into there. I'll probably paint that black when it's done. So the reason I have to use that is because, okay, I could drill out this bar end weight, but that's kind of defeats the object. I want to keep the weight, and it's threaded with a 6mm. But before you can do any of that, you've got to remove this part. So I'll show you how I did that, because I have already done one of them. So as you can see, it's 6mm. One other complication is, I don't know if you can see, but that's slotted on the end so that that part of the bar end weight won't turn. But looking at it, I think that slot is inside the handlebars. This has a spacer that sits against handlebars, so it shouldn't really be an issue. We'll see. So the project is, use the original Honda bar end weights with the SW-Motech handguards. That's what I'm after. Right, I'll show you how I removed the screw out of that, because I think it's red Loctited in, just a guess. It's bloody tight, I know that. To begin with, just going to wrap this in a bit of protective tape. That's just to stop the vice from marking it up. I suppose it doesn't really matter because it's just a lump of metal. Why damage it? There's no need. Fit that into the vice, tighten it up. Okay, I removed the first one using my JIS PH3x150 screwdriver. These are not JIS screws, so you don't really need a JIS screwdriver. I just always feel better on a Japanese buy. So first of all, try it without any heat. Can't shift it. So without heat, imagine that would be inside the bike, so the whole thing twists. I can't shift that. I know some people have said they've used an impact driver to get it out, but you know, why do that when you can use an elegant solution? So that's as high as it goes. Just apply the heat to the weight. So, a bit of heat applied. Screwdriver. And twist. You can feel that it's actually held at the bottom. Turn the heater off. Feel that it's actually held at the bottom because it gets freer as it comes up. It's free now. So, there is a 6mm screw. The reason I like these JIS screwdrivers is they just grip things so well, even if it's a non-JIS screw. Right, so some glue on there as well. I think that's off where the hand grips are glued on. The other one hasn't got any glue on it, so it's not part of this. So you can see that that goes through there and that threads into there. Okay, to use the 8mm coach bar, I'd have to drill that out, re-tap it. I'm just not prepared to do that, and I don't think there's any need. I'm just going to use a longer, these are threaded quite a long way in, so I'm going to use a longer 6mm bolt, coach bolt, fit these back in the bike. Now I've got to be absolutely certain when I fix these back in the bike that it's going to work, because I've got heated grips on now and I can't just peel them off to get these back out again. So I need to be certain. So let's have a look. Now, of course, there's a flaw in my plan, in that as I tighten this bolt, it's going to pull the whole bar weight that way, and the only thing resisting it is going to be the clips that sit inside the holes in the handlebars, which now those clips are obviously not designed to hold any more than just the bar end weight, so they're going to have all this on it. But that will be supported at this end by a bolt into the bike, but you're still going to have a bit of leverage on there, so a little bit concerned it might snap these tabs off, in which case it's going to come loose. So just for reference, this is not a Honda handlebar, it's an East German handlebar actually. That has a hole in it for different purposes, but the way it works is that clip goes into that hole and there's one on the other side, so you slide in and the clips engage and that holds them straight. Only on the Honda they're level with the end. So I'm going to fit that back inside, latch it with those into the holes, and then fit that part to the outside. And just try it for a bit and then I'll report back to you if it comes loose. As I say, it is quite well supported by a bolt here. Okay, so I've got an M6 60mm countersunk bolt. Go in there, then fit on the SW-Motech bar end weight and spacer, and then that will go into the Honda bar end weight when I put it back in the bike. And the only way I've found to put these back in is to put soap on these rubbers so they slide in, and it's tricky to get this to line up. You've got to be really careful. The spring clip, it goes into the holes But I found that the hardest part. The weight goes in nicely if you put soap on it, so that's the next thing to try. There's the pins. So that is now clipped back in. So what you have left over from the SW-Motech is the 3 parts of the spreader that goes inside the handlebars normally, and the bolts. I'll put those safe, and if I ever need to put them back on, got them. So how did that go? Well, the weather's been atrocious, snow, rain constantly, so not been out much, but the one ride that I did get to go out on them with, did about 50 miles, probably a bit further. They worked brilliantly, I have to say. Got home, no vibrations in the fingers, so maybe Honda knew what they were doing when they put those original bar end weights in there. And secondly, the handguards work just fine. I'm not doing heavy off-road, so for my purposes, bike falling over and keeping the wind off, they seem perfectly strong enough. As I say, it's just my opinion, not suggesting you copy this, I'm just trying it out for myself. And on that happy note, Codge Biker is out!